Hello YouTube, it's Mr. Billy Airdrop here again, and today I'm bringing you a video to help you play and define your own shotgun class. On screen, as you can see, is a comparison between the Stakeout and SPAS12 in visual form. This comes straight from the weapon data chart, which was compiled by Den Kearson, so many thanks to him. I've decided to use these two shotguns in particular for my comparison because they tend to be the most widely used in Black Ops from my own experience. So, to kick things off, let's start off simple. Let's start with the damage output for both weapons. They have 30 points each, with a ×8 multiplier, but unfortunately the damage drop-off is extremely severe. Many of you will have experienced this for yourself. After about 12 to 13 meters, you will do no damage whatsoever, so as you're aware, keep those shotguns for close range only. Next up we have the recenter speed. It is significantly higher on the SPAS12 rather than the Stakeout, which means that if you are one of those who likes to aim in with their shotguns rather than hip firing, then the best choice for you is a Stakeout. It will snap the reticle back to the centre much quicker, allowing you to get your next shot off at a much faster rate. The next thing to cover is the magazine size. The SPAS12 comes with 8 shots to the Stakeout's 4, which gives you a much higher margin for error, allowing you to use the SPAS12 for hip firing, whereas you would use the Stakeout for more aiming in, be more accurate on your target. And this higher mag size is coupled with a much faster rounds per minute rate for the SPAS12, allowing you to fire constant stream of shells at your target, preferably from the hip with this weapon, compared to the Stakeout's 92.3, which is a much slower rate. Really does favour aiming down the sights with this weapon. As you can see, the run speed and the aiming down the sights in speed is the same for both weapons, so either can be used for both purposes really, especially coupled with the identical recoil pattern. I just wanted to give you guys my recommendation on how to use both classes. Personally, I would use sleight of hand on the Stakeout and steady aim on the SPAS12, purely because the way the stats look for the Stakeout, they really don't lend themselves to hip firing like the SPAS12 does. So guys, just a recommendation, highly recommend using sleight of hand and aiming down the sights when you use the Stakeout as your shotgun. As promised, I'll be bringing you guys some shotgun gameplay. I am using the SPAS12 with steady aim as I recommended to you guys, and it's clear to many of you who have played with this gun before that the best way to get success with it is to stick to buildings, stick to narrow alleys, and generally just cover a small area where people can't really surprise you from a distance, because as mentioned in my comparison, this weapon really has no prowess whatsoever at a range past about 12 to 13 meters. Not only will it not do much damage, it won't do any at all. So as said guys, please stick to buildings and narrow corridors with this weapon. It's the same with the Stakeout. Stick to close range, because although you do aim in with that weapon, it still won't carry your shots any further. Anyway, I had success with this class. I went 30 to 2, and I think a lot of that was due to it being a rather small map in comparison to others, although there are plenty of buildings for you to hold down on the larger maps. Array, the central silo, although large, is a cylinder shape, which allows you to sneak up on enemies much easier than if it was rectangular, simply because they can't see you from a distance. They can't see around the edges of the walls. So that's another map that it's great for. Shotgun classes can be used on the majority of the maps really, but they do favour smaller maps because although there are buildings on each, it's generally better for you if you get set up early on before people find their feet against you. You'll notice that every time I need to reload this weapon, I try and stick to a corner, try and hide in the side, simply because it reloads at such a slow rate. The fact that you've got 8 shells to reload on this weapon means that it takes an extremely long amount of time. You do not want to be caught with your pants down while loading shells into the weapon at all, so stick to corners, stick to edges, and only reload if you're sure no one's coming around. I've got Blackbird now. Incidentally, I'm using 3-8-11 on kill streaks, so that's Spy Plane, Blackbird and Dogs, which I feel is the best free-fall setup. You'll notice here I start reloading and a guy is coming towards me. I can clearly see my Blackbird, and I feel that I can't get the shells in quick enough to get a shot off, so I land the easy knife. It's easy at that point because I know he's coming towards me, even though I was using a tactical setup. I'm usually terrible at knifing. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, I am using the suppressor on this gun. Unlike the previous installment of Call of Duty, adding a silencer to your SPAS12 will not limit the range in any way. So I can't recommend highly enough that you use a suppressor on your shotgun. As you can see, I've just called the dogs in, so I let them do my dirty work for a while I try and survive with my 4 shells in my weapon. I picked up an AK, but unfortunately I didn't switch to it in time, and that guy managed to kill me because I was too far distance. As mentioned in the comparison stage of this video, the SPAS12 and the Stakeout both have extremely short distances that they're lethal at. Don't try and engage people at that distance unless you have no choice. I knew I wouldn't be able to switch to the AK-47 in time. It's the only reason I tried to shoot him with the shotgun. So unfortunately I've been driven from my initial spot. I'll take up residence in this middle building just while my dogs get to work on the remaining enemies. But unfortunately they don't manage to win the game for me, so I'm forced out of my little cubby hole. I know full well that I need to pick up another secondary, because once I leave here it's not going to be short range distances again, so a shotgun's not going to be enough. Twice in this video so far you'll see that I have used 4 shots just to kill 1 person. So if at any point you get below around 3 to 4 shells, if you can help it, make sure you do the reload, because 2 really isn't enough, especially at a range like that. I don't know why I tried to make that shot. I told you guys already, 12 to 13 meters maximum is shun range, and I stupidly jumped out to follow him, and I deservedly died for it. So guys, don't make that mistake. Stick to close range as said. Do not try and engage people with assault rifles when you're using a shotgun, unless you're practically at point blank range, because you will lose. Anyway, I managed to finish the game off there because he decided to set up shop. Final score was 30-2 as mentioned earlier. Thank you very much for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to do something new with the video, with the comparisons. Please stay tuned for more. Thank you very much.